Points.
That point system is so confusing.
Chawla Shah, I don't like you. -1.
I think it's just whatever he thinks is right, he picks.
Yeah, that's not cool. Blake wouldn't do that, would he?
I don't think so.
Can we talk to Blake about that?
We should.
Alright, well there you go. 23rd episode is going to be a playoff prediction show. Alright, so let's just have a recap of what's going on here. Which team do you think was the biggest disappointment to finish out the season? Carl?
I'm going to go with my Super Bowl pick, the Houston Texans. They started 2-0, ended on a 0-14 run, locked up the first overall pick, so congratulations to them on that. But they were a playoff team last year, and now they're picking first overall. I think this is ludicrous.
No.
Well, you're right. It was pretty bad. I mean, and it's just disappointing for the Houston Texans. I also think the Washington Redskins were thoroughly disappointing. Not to mention, now they're giving their pick to the Rams, which is just even worse. So, look, you draft Robert Griffin III. He gets injured. You struggle even with him back. You know what happens now? You don't have a draft pick. You're kind of screwed. It's not looking good for this Washington Redskins team. Lucky for them, they do have some decent picks. They have they have a high pick in the second round, and they do have Robert Griffin III and Pierre Garçon, and Alfred Morris, and hopefully that's enough for them to work off of.
And Kirk Cousins.
Disappointment.
Think about it.
Kirk Cousins is the most important piece of that. Thank you, Jake, for reminding me of the most important piece.
It might be interesting to see how that plays out. Think about it, Washington fans. It could be worse. You could be the Washington Tealskins, and that never works. There we go. That's it. Hashtag Tealskins. Hit us up. Dan Snyder, we're coming for you. Washington Tealskins. It's gonna be a thing. Do we like it?
I'm gonna say nay to that one.
Well, that's what Dan Snyder said to a name change, but sometimes we have to embrace change, Carl. Noah, you are the final one here. Carl has said no. If you two overrule me, we will have to find a different hashtag.
So, hashtag Tealskins.
I'm sorry, Jake, but it's a no-go. We're going to have to let you go. I don't think you can continue on American Idol.
Okay, what about my Save Me song?
No, I'm sorry, Jake.
No, I'm gonna no. I'm gonna give J-Lo Goosies.
We love
And
see the Key and Peele video where he brings in. He's like, I live under a bridge, and then it's like, no, we can't let you go on in the show. I raised my daughter, and it's like, no, she's blind. No, and it's like, and who is this? That's her daughter. Aw, and I raised her. I'll book your tickets. You're going to London.
It's kind of true though. I mean, Washington fans have a sob story. They could be the Tealskins sob story. Hashtag Tealskins sob story. Hashtag just kidding. Hashtag trying too hard. For me, my answer to that question would be for the team most disappointing to close out the year, the Miami Dolphins. They had it wrapped up. They went into Buffalo and got shut out. They were disgraced. They lost 19-0. And then they lost at home to the Jets with a playoff spot on the line. Are you kidding me? This offensive line was atrocious. Tannehill would never have even had a chance. Mike Wallace was a bust. They fell apart. The Dolphins were swimming without a fin at the home stretch. And it's just ridiculous that they could not close out against Buffalo and then against the Jets. Terrible. Terrible. And a lot of people were banking on them being really good. Very disappointing finish for them. The coaching carousel, oh boy. Well, at least one team didn't wait. Chudzinski is out after just 1 year in Cleveland. First, so this is two questions. First, do you think Chudzinski had a fair chance and that the Browns should not have fired him after 1 year? Yes or no? No.
Honestly, here's the thing. It's 1 year, but this 1 year wasn't great. And I understand he had a lot of injuries, unfortunate injuries, and they were playing well under, what's his name? Brian Hoyer. There we go. There we go, Noah. Way to remember the name. I'm proud of myself. But unfortunately, I can't really say it's a bad decision. I can't really say it's a good decision. I wish, he would stay. I wish he would stay just as a personal thing. I don't think it's fair to fire him after 1 year, but this is the Cleveland Browns, and nothing goes right for them. So honestly, either way, things would have probably gone wrong.
It is Cleveland sports. Carl?
I'm going to say this is too soon. You need more than a year to rebuild a team, especially one that is that far down in the dumps. I think they shouldn't have fired him. I think he needs a real chance to take that franchise and put his stamp on it. You look at most coaches run a different system, so it's going to take time to get the right players to run your system. It's going to take time to get everything into place, but I think, especially after one season, there's just no way you have that time.
I was going to say that this was unfair for Trzynski, but then you hear about the rumors about who they're going to bring in, and they're saying it's very likely that Josh McDaniels will be brought back in. Remember Josh McDaniels? He was the guy in Denver before John Fox. I liked McDaniels, to be quite honest. I think he could do well there. I think he might be a good fit for Cleveland. I think if we can get Brian Hoyer accustomed at quarterback. Hoyer did well at quarterback, by the way. I think we're all forgetting this. The Browns looked at some point formidable with Hoyer under center. This is a team that was able to knock off the Cincinnati Bengals with Hoyer. So, I think that with Hoyer under center, a smart draft pick, a new coach.
But this is Cleveland. They don't take smart draft picks.
No, that's Oakland. Cleveland, there's still hope. Oh, yeah. You never know. But the Rams are going to have a good opportunity. Moving on to the coaching carousel. I'm going to say, Coach, you got to tell me if they are safe or out. What you should, and this is what you think should be. Noah Coughlin.
That's a toughie, but I'm going to say he's safe for right now. And he's great. Honestly, I think he's a great coach. They had a bad year, and he did have a lot of talent, but their defense was really bad, and their players, in my opinion, just didn't step up how they used to. I don't think it was his fault. I think he's safe for a year.
I think Tom Coughlin with the New York Giants, they still won 2 Super Bowls. Miracle runs. You cannot put this on Coughlin. This man deserves to be safe. If he's on the hot seat, everyone should be on the hot seat, in my opinion. Carl.
On Coughlin?
Yes, on Coughlin.
On Coughlin, I almost feel like he should get one more year, and I don't know why, but I guess it is because of the Super Bowls, and he's proven that he can win. Problem is, I do not want to sit too much on those Super Bowls. Do not. You need to be the team of now. If you're the team of what you used to be, that's not gonna win you championships. It's just, that's how it has to be. You have to be good in this moment. You can't just be winning. You can't win once and be great forever. You have to be consistent.
Well, they won twice, and their teams are going to be great forever. I'm saying Coughlin just does not deserve to be fired. He's proven himself. This was a bad year on Eli Manning. This year's on Eli Manning. And this year is on the defense. Next coach. How about we go with Greg Schiano of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Carl.
This one I need a little more information on before I make a sure pick. Obviously, there has been some rumors swirling around about how Schiano treats his players and how he treats that organization. I know that Jake personally is not a big Schiano fan and what he is rumored to have done. It's hard for me to say, but the Buccaneers have been very disappointing after a year that was supposed to be a promising one. This year they proved to be lackluster all season. I'm going to say Schiano should be out after this year. This year in Tampa Bay, he's had his time, but I feel that he's just not a good fit there.
Noah.
Yeah. He's not, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think he's moved past the hot seat. I think with all of these things about him being talked to, he's on the piping hot seat. There are jalapenos on that seat. They can eat away at his butt while he sits on that seat. But I think he's gone. I think, you know what? I credit him for actually making the switch and going with Mike Glennon. I think it actually turned out better for them. But either way, I don't think he's a good coach. I think Mike Glennon is a better quarterback than Josh Freeman.
Okay, first of all, Greg Schiano, leave now. Bye. Penn State will bring him in with open arms. There's a rumor going around that since Bill O'Brien is likely leaving the Nittany Lions for the Houston Texans, there's vacancy there, and that they are actively hunting Greg Schiano. First of all, I still stand by Josh Freeman being a better quarterback than Mike Glennon. Freeman didn't have a chance. Schiano made this a public spectacle. He turned this into a debacle. It's unbelievable. The way he has handled things here, I'm shocked that he's not fired already. And it is a shame for the Buccaneers if he's not out.
I still think that you're going a little... You've been doing this all year, and
Exactly.
all you're doing is going off on Schiano. You're making it seem like this team would be perfect without him sometimes.
No, not perfect.
But you're making it seem like that when all you talk about with this team is how Schiano is a big issue. You don't talk about the issue of the rest of their team. You don't talk about how they're...
Tell the issues about Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Let me talk to you.
Because there are issues. There are issues. There are certainly issues. But I am saying if you had kept Freeman, this team would have been at least 3 games better this year.
Quick issue, defensively, they couldn't get to the passer for their lives. For their lives. They could not get near him. You go to sacks. Looking at the sack statistics, they are 23rd in the league. They had 34 sacks. That is pitiful. Below them, San Diego, Atlanta, New York, Pittsburgh, Houston. These are teams that you don't want them. Those are just right below them. That is the category they're in. There are teams like Minnesota above them.
Hey, Minnesota has Jaron Allen.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Cleveland is above them. I understand they have some defensive players that are good as well, but still, this team could not get to the quarterback for their life. And I do agree that Greg Schiano doesn't help, but I don't think he's the number one issue. I think saying a coach is the number one issue is wrong, only because honestly, it's the players as well just didn't get it done. Because there's only a certain amount that a coach can do. Honestly, I think Schiano is one of the biggest issues on that team. But I think overall, I think the other issues outweigh it. Though I do think getting a new coach is a step in the right direction.
Fine. Maybe I'm tough on him. I stand by it. I can't stand him as a coach. I don't think he has what it takes to be in the NFL. And I think that they never should have fired Raheem Morris in the first place, and they should be begging to bring him back.
I think you're being hard on him, but I've said that before.
Look what Raheem Morris did, though. This team was 10-6. The only reason they missed the playoffs was because the Packers were also 10-6, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. Freeman had a great year. His career trajectory was looking way up, and then Schiano, who came in here and liked Glennon from the start, didn't give Freeman a chance. We could be looking at a very different Buccaneers team right now. Normally, you can't blame the coach, but when the coach has become so overpowering and is enforcing his will on every
But I feel like you're not giving enough evidence here. I feel like you're giving us a...
Would you like evidence?
I would like evidence. Please, Jake. Give me evidence of him imposing his will.
Let's take a look. Okay, preseason stats between Glennon and Freeman.
No, but I don't want stats. I don't want to hear about Glennon and Freeman. I don't want to hear Glennon and Freeman. I want to hear him opposing his will, not making a quarterback change. There's a difference.
No. He is imposing his will.
But by showing us preseason stats of Josh Freeman and Mike Glennon,
there are
that's not going
certain
to tell me anything.
How about he sabotages the captain vote?
Yeah, okay.
How about Freeman not showing up because he's so fed up with him? How about him? It was known that he liked Glennon from the start, and this didn't surprise anybody.
Are you saying no other coaches have favorites?
I'm saying that this was not the right time to play favorites. I think Freeman's career was looking... I'm not saying Freeman's a great quarterback. I'm not saying the Buccaneers are a great team. I'm saying they could be a lot better had Schiano not come in, had Morris stayed, had they not fired Morris. I still think it was the incorrect decision. Perhaps I'm wrong. Maybe all will disagree with me. But I think that this was it was the wrong decision. Moving on,